We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. And don't forget to watch us, which you can do on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. Now, we know Mississippi is at the top of the list when it comes to good food, and that includes good catering. Joining us today is Joey Thompson. He is the owner of Moondog Makers and Bakers out of Corinth, but they don't just stop there. They go all over, taking their delicious treats to folks of all kinds. So welcome, Joey.
Hey, thanks. Good to be here.
It's good to have you here. In fact, I think that you're a little far away from home, from Corinth to Meridian this weekend. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, about a 3-hour drive.
Well, I think anyone who has worked in food service, number one, deserves a tip of the hat. But number two, catering is a whole nother animal, right? Like, it's one thing to make the food and be there with it, but then it's another thing to make it and then take it and then set it up and do the whole thing. So, Joey, how did you find yourself in this great big world of catering?
Well, I've spent about 13 years at a really great restaurant in Corinth called Pizza Grocery, and learned a lot. I studied under a chef, Andy Lipford, who's a Corinth native, and he went to Le Cordon Bleu in Scottsdale, and I really learned a lot from him in the first, 3 or 4 years before he moved to North Carolina, and the restaurant was just booming, still is. I started just making odd and end things around the house, like jams and jellies and pickles, and mixing my own spice blends and selling them at the little craft markets and fairs. And I eventually my buddy asked me to cater his wedding, and that was in 2016. And I believe, I would say we've got at least 100 weddings under our belt, in all different locations.
That's impressive. Number one, your buddy is pretty trusting to say, hey, let me be your first catering gig in terms of your wedding. No pressure there, right, Joey?
Yeah. We were in a cow pasture. They had this really nice, this little bluff that they were going to have their wedding at his uncle's house, and he is a beekeeper, and they could not get the bees moved, so they ended up having to relocate to the cow pasture. So that in itself offered some trials, but we got there and cooked, and it was in the middle of July in a cow pasture in Mississippi, so you can imagine the type of environment. But it was really, really beautiful wedding. It was fun, and we've learned a lot from every single catering we've done since.
So Moondog Makers and Bakers, tell us about the name. That's really a unique name, kind of rolls. What does it mean to you?
Well, Moondog was a nickname that my uncles gave me when I was a kid. It was a tag team wrestling group, and I would always kind of mimic them, running around the house acting like the Moondogs, and they started calling me Moondog. Then that shortened to Moon, and then they started calling me Moon Puppy. So when the idea for a name came out, it was a toss-up between Joey's Pie Company, which is a horrible name, and Moondog Makers and Bakers. And then the Makers and Bakers kind of, it was, at the beginning, I kind of viewed Moondog and kind of my mission as more of a culinary-focused lifestyle brand, kind of like there's a brand called True Cooks and like Headley and Bennett, and I kind of envisioned it going that way, but it just kind of grew organically into what it is now, and it's been really cool to see that process.
What is it about catering, or did you just sort of fall into the catering world, Joey, and ran with it, versus having maybe more of a storefront there at home that doesn't keep you on the road as much? What is it about catering that kind of you jive with it and it jives with you?
I love meeting new people. I'm just like my dad and my brother. We don't meet a stranger, and while I love my North Mississippi folks, it's really fun to get out in the new areas. Like we're in Meridian this weekend, and we were in Natchez a couple of weekends ago, and there's no shortage of just incredible people, and I want to get to know every one of them.
You have to add like logistics expert too to your list, because getting the food, knowing what you need, that's sort of far away from home. Because I'm assuming, are you cooking on site, Joey, or are you cooking it and then bringing it? How does that work when you're going from like Corinth to Meridian for an event?
Yeah, so we'll be cooking on site in Meridian. Usually, you just got to fill out your locale and whether they have a functioning kitchen, or that kind of determines how much equipment we need to pack up. We're pretty self-sufficient, but, if we can leave a few things back at home, that's great too. But yeah, it's a juggle and a struggle. Everyone's different. When we don't operate off of a set menu, so almost every time we cook, it's something different, and just leaves a lot of margin for error. But luckily, we got some strong guys on our team who are a lot more organized and thorough than I am, kind of helping out.
Well, you definitely can't do catering alone, Joey. So who all kind of goes with you on all of your fun adventures catering throughout Mississippi and I think beyond with your Moondog Makers and Bakers?
My head chef, Wayne Richardson, he's from Iuka. He and I worked together at Pizza Grocery for, I'd say, about 4 or 5 years. And then a couple of years ago, I met his buddy Bradley, and Bradley he'd never cooked in a kitchen before, and he just fell in lockstep with us. He's strong in a lot of areas that Wayne and I struggle with, as far as, over preparedness and being really thorough on checklists and things like that. So we never hesitate to just pass that off to him. Then I have a buddy, Jeremy Hayes. Jeremy and Bradley are both also from Iuka, which is about 15, 20 minutes from Corinth. And Jeremy's a cabinet builder, and he kind of helps us sporadically. He's helping us a lot more now than originally, but so got those three. And then I have a handful of buddies. My buddy Jason Banks, he works for Coke in Corinth, and he's always gung-ho to come help us. He's also spent some time with us at Pizza Grocery, so knows his way around what we're doing and very adaptable.
So, Joey, if I was going to have Moondog Makers and Bakers as my caterer, I know you said you don't work off set menus, which to me brings anxiety. But what is what would you say y'all's specialty is? Like if someone said you make the menu, what are you best at? What would you say would be a dish or two that you should put on your catering list?
Yeah, well, we would definitely. I would say wood-fired pizza is by far our most popular thing we offer. We have an oven we can cook about 120 pizzas in a couple of hours, and that would be my thing, is pizza 100%. It's really good. We get nothing but compliments. We have folks, we've been to Memphis probably about 15 times this summer, or this latter half of this year, and we're up there cooking pizzas a couple of miles from one of my favorite wood-fired pizzerias, Hog and Hominy, which is it's really cool to me to know that they see us as almost equals with some of these chefs that inspire me. It's pretty awesome.
So how far do you go, Joey? So you're from Corinth all the way to Meridian. Not sure how many hours that is, but you got Mississippi listening. How you go to the coast? How far do you guys get out and do your catering?
It really, we're open to go wherever. I mean, if you fly us to Alaska, we'll come cook. But we've been in 7 states in the past couple of years: Arkansas, Missouri, Wisconsin, Illinois, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee. We're right on the southern border of Tennessee, about 2 miles. So we do a lot of stuff in West Tennessee. But yeah, we literally go anywhere anyone wants us.
Well, if somebody wanted to know more about what you guys are doing, or maybe see about getting you to cater a fun event, how do they do that, Joey?
We get a lot of, communication through social media, Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is Moondog Making and Baking, at Moondog Making and Baking, and then Facebook is Moondog Makers and Bakers. We also have a website that we launched last fall, moondogmakersandbakers.com, where you can submit a catering inquiry. You can We got some staff bios, and we had one of my good friends who's a photographer took some cool headshots for us, and it looks like we're all in a band. We're not the cutesy type of chefs. We're all a bunch of roughneck looking guys, but I feel like our food makes up for what we lack in appearance.
Well, I appreciate your time today, Joey. Best of luck with your event there in Meridian, and the next time you're in Jackson, stop by.
Yes, ma'am, I sure will. Thank you so much.
All right, you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.